Hi, it's Don Hobbs over here at the Small Business Festival in Austin. Of course, we're at the headquarters of it all, and it's been an amazing day. And actually, our closing speaker, I was so honored that I get a chance to talk to her. Amy Simmons is here from Amy's Ice Cream, and there's probably many more things actually. There's Amy's Ice Cream, and then other things we'll talk about, I think. Yet I know that when I moved to Austin, and it was one of the first things that I got introduced to was Amy's Ice Cream, and I was here and had, in the first 3 days, been introduced to Uchi and Amy's, and I was like, I love it here.
We live in a great city.
I drove away from the restaurant where I was that night, and I was like, I love it here. So new to Austin, you're an icon in the city, and it's so great to be with you.
Oh, thank you so much. This has been a blast. Really
Yeah.
fun.
Great, we're having fun. So tell us a little bit about where it all started for you, because I know you've had quite a journey. It isn't like the instant overnight success story.
No, well, it's just landing in business is not what I expected. My undergraduate degree is biology, psychology. I thought I'd be a doctor. I worked in an ice cream store during college, and there's something about ice cream. There's ice cream sirens, and you don't go into an ice cream store because you're hungry. You go in because you're sad. You go in because you did well on a test. You did poorly on a test. Your grandma's in town. You want to go on a date. So it's the reason people go into the ice cream store. You get a chance to be a part of people's lives in a way that no other business I can think of. And so it really lured me in as an experience and as an opportunity to share community. And so wrote a business plan.
I love that, Amy.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I'd never heard that. I'm like, that's so cool. You're part of all the important, I mean, that's like,
well, you hear it all the time that if you can find something that really speaks to your purpose,
Yeah.
and on your deathbed, you're successful because it spoke to your purpose. And really, ice cream store is just a vehicle. We kind of sometimes say it's a front.
Right. So it's taking you, then take us further in that story.
So wrote a business plan, raised $100,000.
You were out of school, or?
I was out of school,
Okay.
23 years old, and didn't sell it to friends or family. And my father got mad at me years afterwards for not doing that. But what percentage? 95% of all small businesses fail.
Right.
And so I wanted my friends and my family to be there to support me when it failed. So our lead investor was the janitor of the ice cream store I worked the first time. Really, I love telling that story because it's about building relationships and real relationships, and non-opportunistic relationships, and how they pay back. But came to Austin, never having been to Austin before, from Ann Arbor, Michigan, which is a similar town, real liberal city in a very conservative state. So lots of the same values, creative. Really, at the time, it was striking because of all the small businesses within the boundaries of Austin. Most towns had Bennigan's and TGI Fridays, great businesses, but they're chains, and you could have them anywhere in Boston, New York, Texas. In Austin, it was Texas French Bread and Chewy's and all these home-founded businesses with lots of character and wonderful products. So I just opened it, never thought that was going to be my career, but questioned being there and my purpose periodically throughout the business, and realized that was the perfect vehicle.
What was your purpose?
My purpose is impacting people's confidence. Really, to take, if I was not a confident young person, that I thought I was different, atypical, and it took years to kind of come to grips with that's what makes me special, and I can make a difference, and that's either it's a competitive advantage in business to not think the way traditional business people think, to not think money in itself has value, but what you do with it has value. And so to create a company as a vehicle for education for young people and building confidence for young people, and then also to be able to contribute to your community in a way that's very real and lasting, I mean, it's priceless. I've really found the perfect place.
You have, and I love that, and the heart space that comes from is so awesome. And how does that translate through your, I mean, certainly Amy's, and how does it translate through Amy's? And of course, now you're even doing some training, and you're bringing your way of kind of doing things to Austin business. I don't know if it's gone further than that, but
Yeah,
certainly in Austin business.
So one tough decision, I talk about peer pressure in adults. There's a lot of peer pressure in business that we want to, success in our country is rapid growth, rapid unit growth, rapid revenue growth.
Yep.
And every time I went back to Tufts where there's a lot of people who were very successful, they'd say, how many units do you have? And I wanted to be successful, but made a very difficult choice to restrict growth because I felt like I could make a bigger difference being small. So one of our mantras early on, we have lots of them, human moments, our mission statement is to make people's day, but we say 100 years, not 100 units. And so what happened from that is that we are also very, very driven intellectually, for challenge, for creation. And so we found as we developed these young people that were non-traditional, that they were superstars. And we could create a place for them to go. And so we've created some business offshoots of Amy's that we've partnered with, including Baked by Amy's. But the one I'm most passionate about right now is Amy's EDU, which teaches culture, it teaches leadership. We practice the great game of business, and we teach that. We also teach our CEO, our marketing director, and our head of operations are all drama majors.
That's awesome.
Obvious.
Yeah. I've met them, and yes, you can see that, and it's so fun to think about the translation to training and to moving people into those kinds of action spaces.
And we're super passionate about financial literacy, not only for business, but for individuals and their ability to reach their own dreams in their life. Again, not for the money in itself, but for the dreams. Family time, security. And so they got so passionate about it and really saw a way of communicating in a different way, in a way that's more inspirational, that people would really hold on to. They call it infotainment. So we started EDU, and they're incredible teachers. They just have a huge following, so I get to be a part of that.
That's super exciting.
Life is good for me.
Yeah, that's great. I'm really happy about that, and I love the contribution. And we've talked about some of the concepts like open books, and what a powerful concept that is inside companies to have companies run off that. And just give me some of the concepts that are really at the base of the training. You said leadership. I mean, you gave us the topics.
So it's really transparency and financial transparency. And I talk a lot about baby steps, because when you think of going from a traditional company, as a matter of fact, when I first started, my father was corporate secretary for Burroughs and vice president of Burroughs and Sperry. And he said, Amy, you can't share those financials. You have to stamp confidential on it. I said, Dad, what's it going to do to stamp confidential? People, they take the information anyway, and they can't duplicate what we're doing. There's so much work behiand those numbers. So we started sharing the financial. We started discovering it together. What are the questions? Why are some things a percentage, and other things are a hard number, or fixed cost, or variable cost? What's a balance sheet? Why do you care about that? Cash flow. And so it was really a discovery process that we built training around within our organization. And then you have to, what's in it for them? So there's a huge profit sharing that comes along with it. 15-year-olds can impact, we've always heard this, people on the line know more about the business than the people in the office, right?
You're right.
So put them to work making change, and give them the power, and give them the information.
The information is critical. They have to understand how it applies to them, right?
And so you really open up where they ask questions about the finance, and they can make decisions that impact it. And you make it a game. That's why Jack Stack called it the great game of business. It's really a scoreboard, and it's fun. And so many people say I'm not good at math, and yet they can figure out a batting average in a heartbeat, and the impact of a strikeout on a player's batting average. That's kind of difficult math. So we break that old feeling that I'm not good at math, and let people know practice, 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 get exposure to it, make it meaningful to their lives, and then they're brilliant, and they can go out and start their own businesses.
Yeah, and business is a game.
Yeah, it is
Business
a game.
is fun. Business is
a
game.
Blast.
It
And
is.
there's scorekeeping.
And we got to keep score, and we have to know how to keep score. So it's really awesome that you're doing that. You're over there today, and you're talking to these business people, and I didn't get a chance to see all of it. Let's leave our viewers with just a couple things that you would, if you had one thing that you could give, and there was the big difference maker, what would it be for small business?
One of my favorite ones that recently kind of crystallized for me is that we are problem solvers. So it's the gap between your expectation and reality that creates the stress. So if you identify yourself as a problem solver and you go to work saying, I'm a problem solver, when you hit those problems, you're going to be successful solving them. So for instance, a doctor. If a doctor went to work every day and thought every one of his patients is going to come in healthy and they were all sick, he's going to go home and he's going to be exhausted, or she's going to go home and be exhausted. But if he understands that he's a healer and that he's going to have a different problem, then it's a intellectual curiosity. How can I solve that problem? He's successful at the end of the day because he's made people, impacted people's lives to the best of his ability.
How are you doing that every day?
Just embracing problems. When they hit you, we had a giant one today. Actually, it's in my personal life with my daughter. And she called me with this huge problem and she was in tears. And I said, it's okay. Life is full of problems. It's how we attack it.
Absolutely.
And so we got busy and, and we found solutions. It was beautiful. Felt very successful.
You are a big inspiration.
Oh, you are too also.
Yeah, well, you're the one on stage, not
okay.
me. You're a huge inspiration. Thanks for being part of the festival.
Oh, yeah,
and
our pleasure.
I'm looking forward. Of course, we're going to work together here soon, and
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
Me too.
I think what you're doing is amazing. I love the fact that you're translating it into training and business training, and I love the fact that you have such a heart to impact people and not just build a business. You're so conscious about your decisions, and I really respect that so much.
Thank you.
And we're here at the Small Business Festival with Amy Simmons. How lucky are we? We'll see you next time.